Do your microgreens need any nutrients or fertilizer? Welcome back for another video to Recalibrate with Nate, and thanks again for joining me for another video on this playlist series, which I will link in the description box below, the links for this entire playlist series, as well as the links to the plant-based bundle. The plant-based bundle is back and it's better than ever. It's going on until November 28th, 2022, and it is loaded. Over 200 different products you're getting in this plant-based bundle, totaling nearly $9,000 worth for $50. My full microgreens course is in there, which I sell for $77, as well as there's over 200 other products in there, all for 50 bucks. Essentially, from our household alone, what I have in there is my microgreens course, my dude food book, and my alive book, as well as 5 other books from my wife, Lissa. Our products alone total over $200, and that is all in the plant-based bundle as well. So make sure you click the link in the description to go take a peek, grab that bundle. $50, you cannot beat this deal. Nearly $9,000 if you were to buy everything individually. We also have our books on sale at 60% off for Black Friday and Boxing Day, and those links will be down below as well, so be sure to check those out if there is a book that you're looking for that we have that isn't in the plant-based bundle. All right, let's get into this video. So, do you need nutrients or fertilizer for watering your microgreens? And the answer is simply no, you don't. These little babies will grow with just pure fresh water. Now, you can add different minerals to your water, which is going to increase possibly the nutrient profile within the microgreen, and it's really hard to test these sorts of things unless we were to take them to the lab and actually see how much more nutrient is in the microgreen as opposed to using just fresh water and using some sort of a mineral solution. So what we do here personally is we use pure fresh water. We have a reverse osmosis device, so to speak. It's a filtration system which is under our sink that filters out the city water that we're using. So we have filtered water that we're starting with, and we use that for the germination process and essentially for the entire growing process, the entire vegetative process of these growing until they're ready to be harvested, which really they're ready to harvest in like 5 days after germination to maybe 10 days at most, depending on some of the strains that you're growing. But essentially, they're only under the lights for like 5 to maybe 7 days before you're harvesting. So, but what we have added to the water is what we call the ocean. Well, we don't call it. This is called ocean solution. And all this is it's a nutrient that you can add to your water, and it just kind of helps support the growth of the microgreen, because of course we're growing them in a very stressful environment, being so packed together. It's not a natural grow environment that we're growing these, but you're growing them so fast, right? So it's nice to give them a little extra boost. And what we do is I just have a 3-gallon jug that I put, the water in. It's got the screw top with like a nice rubber seal. You don't have to put your water in this. I just like to use this container because it makes it easier to mix the ocean solution into water out of. Plus it's got the lid so it keeps any kinds of dust and debris. We've got a couple of cats here. I don't want cat hair in the water, right? So, but you can use just a gallon jug, but we just put ours in here. And I only water with the ocean solution once a day. Once in the morning time, and at night they get fresh water. So that's essentially the only nutrients that the microgreens are getting. But really, you don't need any nutrients or any kind of fertilizer to grow microgreens. And that's another thing that I really love about growing microgreens is essentially we're growing veganically. Veganically is the growing without any kind of animal product or byproduct at all within the nutrients. Say when you're amending your garden beds, a lot of times people use fish emulsion or feather meal, these sorts of things, bone meal, ground up bones of animals. Now, these have been shown to add some really amazing nutrients to the soil. But if you're a vegan, you don't necessarily want to promote these sorts of companies or this style of farming. And that's what I really love. Being a vegan myself, I don't want to have any animal products within the growth of these microgreens. So pure, fresh water is essentially all you need. And these little babies just want to grow. They will grow like crazy. But like I said, what we do is we just add a little bit of ocean solution, which this here gallon jug I think is about $50. And it's 1 ounce, a tablespoon per gallon. So that's a lot of minerals to add to the water that will last. This is gonna last us really probably a good couple years because we're not growing commercially. We're just growing for our own personal use. So that is a great way to go. Another thing that we use is a little spray bottle like this. It's a pump sprayer. You can pump it up, and that way you just hold the trigger and you don't have to keep squeezing a trigger. And what I have in here is a solution mixture of water and food grade hydrogen peroxide. And what you want to do with something like this is this really helps sort of sanitize the seed or prevents mold, any kind of mold growth. Like I said, we're growing these in a kind of an unnatural environment. So if you don't have proper air circulation, which I'll get into air circulation in another video in this playlist, if you don't have the proper air circulation and maybe your soil is a little too moist, it can be a great environment for mold to start growing. So you can hit it with a little bit of food grade hydrogen peroxide diluted down with water to help subside some of that. Now, another device that I like to use for watering is just this simple like weed sprayer, right? This is to spray, your garden area, all kinds of different solutions you can put in here, but we use just pure water in here, no minerals or no nutrients go in here. And I use this particular sprayer to spray for the initial spray in the germination phase. Right before everything goes into the closet for germination, I use this sprayer. Now, of course, if you want to learn in depth the ins and outs of all this and how all this works, I'm just trying to cover it somewhat quickly within these videos. Grab the bundle because I go through the entire water process. That's a video in itself within the course, kind of like this video, but it's much more in depth, talking about pH. Now let's brush up on pH. pH, you don't necessarily need to pH your water, but it is a good practice to pH your water to see what you're even starting with. When I pH our water, we're at 6.5 on the scale, so it's really a great base to start off with to water these microgreens. You don't want to have your water too alkaline or too acidic, right? Because if it's too acidic, it's going to kill the microgreen, and if it's too alkaline, it very possibly isn't going to grow as well if it's, too alkaline. But, there's other devices like this here, pH meter. So if you want to really kind of geek out in pH, which we just now started to kind of get into, just maybe pHing our ferments to see if it's fermenting properly. That is also in the video course, the Sprouts, Krauts, and Microgreens course, which is in the plant-based bundle. Going over fermented foods and the benefits of these sorts of foods. It's amazing. But essentially, this video, what I wanted to cover in here was if you need nutrients or fertilizer to water these guys with, and you do not. They will grow with just pure water. They will even grow with just tap water. I would highly suggest not using pure tap water and filter the water or buy some purified water, maybe some spring water or distilled water. If you're using distilled water though, distilled is essentially a sterile water. There's no minerals at all, so you might want to get some minerals to add back into the distilled water if you have a distiller or something like that. But filtered water will work just fine. These little guys, they just want to grow, and they will grow like crazy. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out the plant-based bundle. Like I said, you can get my full course in there. $50. If you were to buy everything in the plant-based bundle separately, it would be nearly $9,000 worth of products, and it's all for 50 bucks. You cannot beat this deal. It's going on until November 28th, so make sure you check that out, and we will see you on the next one. Love ya.